Hey guys, this is Ms. Wiesner, and this is your new lesson. We've taken the quiz. Hopefully, you've gotten it done. You can actually take the quiz more than once on Quizzes, and I've got the code doesn't expire until Friday, so you need to understand how to graph and write inequalities because you're going to be doing a little bit of that in our next couple of lessons, and then we're going to have a test next week. So go in Quizzes and I'll repost the code so that you can get in there and do the quiz. But we're going to move on to solving and graphing inequalities. This is actually a 7th grade standard that you not only know how to graph them, but that you know how to solve them. But before we do that, we need to review solving equations, not inequalities, but just equations. So if you had an equation, I want to rewrite that over here somewhere. If you had an equation, I don't know what's wrong with this. It's been messing up lately on me. A minus 5 equals negative 11. Okay, so if you remember back, these are, right now we're just dealing with one step and adding and subtracting, that's it. Equation or inequalities and equations. So we're going to review that, and remember you want to get your variable by itself, so you want to get rid of whatever number is keeping the variable from being it's by itself. So the a is not by itself because this minus 5 is on the same side of the equal sign with the a, so that means that we need to do the opposite of minus 5 and add 5 to both sides. Now, yes, you're going to have to remember your integer rules. LA-US. LA, like signs add. US, unlike signs subtract. Because that's mainly what we're going to be working with right now. It's just the addition integer rules. So a negative 11 and a positive 5, excuse me, that is a negative 6. So A equals negative 6. It can't be anything other than negative 6. So if you were going to graph that on a number line, it would be just a dot. That's the only thing it could be, is negative 6. Okay, here are your addition integer rules, and I don't know if it's the pen that I'm writing or if it's the iPad that has scratches on it, and maybe a little bit of both, but I have a hard time writing on this, I don't know, for whatever reason. LA, so if you have L, that means like signs. A, you add and keep sign. US, unlike signs, subtract and take sign the higher number. That is for the addition integers. We're not going to think about subtraction because we're doing opposites, so we won't have to worry about that. It's just like what we did before. Okay, what does solving an inequality look like? Well, first of all, just to review, the prefix in means not, so inequality means it's not equal. So the left side of whatever this sign is, if it's pointing to the left, it's going to be less than. It's going to be greater than if it's pointing to the right, less than or equal to if it's pointing to the left, greater than or equal to if it's pointing to the right. Now, what we were talking about before is that the answer can be a whole bunch of different answers. It could be different numbers. It can be greater than 3. It could be greater than or equal to 3. So maybe it includes 3 and anything above, or maybe it's just greater than 3 where it includes only numbers that are bigger than 3, meaning the fraction and decimals. So this is just showing you that the inequality, so this number here will make this whole entire sentence, they call it a number sentence, this whole entire thing true as long as x, when you add it to 3, is bigger than 9. Okay, you can't tell me x is 6, because what's 6 plus 3? 6 plus 3 is 9. Is 9 greater than 9? No, it's equal. So 9 will not work. 6 will not work in this one, but all numbers that are greater than 6 would. Okay, just reviewing how you solve equations is the same way you solve inequalities. You determine the operation in the inequality. Use the opposite operation. So adding and subtraction are opposite operations. So if you have addition, use subtraction, which is a negative. Or if you have a negative, use positive. So you can look at them as addition, subtraction, or positive and negatives. Okay, so whatever number's with the variable, you find the side. Now this time it's not the side of the equal sign. We're looking for the side of the inequality that is with the variable. So the number that's with the variable on this one is 5 because the variable is a. You see over here the 11's kind of chilling out by itself, so that's cool. He's fine. Now what you do is it's very big and bold here, show your work, and it's going to be hard for you to show me your work because unless you took a picture of your work and sent it back, you're just gonna have to trust me on that. You need to be taking notes. Let me stop right now. If you don't have it right now, I want you to hit pause. I want you to get paper and pencil, and I want you to write this stuff down. You need to write down the examples, and you need to write down all the steps so that you have something to look back to. Okay, and you will be watching these videos because if you don't watch the videos, you're not going to understand the lesson. Okay, so what is the opposite of plus 5? Well, negative 5 or minus 5. So you have to show that you're taking 5 away from this side and 5 away from this side. Now, do not write the zeros. Yes, these cancel out, but do not write the 0 beside the variable. Now, what I do is something a little bit extra, is I mark that out. That's my 0. You just don't put anything in the answer. So it looks like it's A is less than 6, but we'll wait and see. Okay, so here's the answer. And so let's say you showed your work and you came up with this answer. A is less than 6. And you know right now that we hope that the variable's on the left-hand side. I'll show you what to do if it's ever not. It'll be really easy. So what you have to do now is graph it. So you need to decide if it's going to be an open circle or a closed circle. You need to decide if it's going to the right or if it's going to the left. So those are going to be some decisions that you're going to have to make. Now, you also want to take a look at the number line and make sure that you understand how it's going up. Sometimes the number line matches what the answer is going to be. So you might not see 0 at all. Maybe it's like from 100 to 120. And those are your numbers that you're working with. That's okay because your answer should be found there. So it's going to be an open circle. So an open circle on 6. And which way is my inequality pointing? It's pointing to the left. So that's why my arrow is pointing to the left. Okay, on this one, I want you to, you can hit pause if you want to, or you can have your sheet of paper out and work this one out. And what you want to do is get your number line so that it includes, oops. Okay, so anyway, sorry, but I might have to go fast through this because I didn't know my iTunes was playing in the background. So I need to get rid of the 2, so I'm going to minus 2 to both sides. And minus 2 here, so that cancels out. So 7 minus 2 is 5. So B is greater than 5. So it's going to be an open circle on 5, and it's going to be going to the right. Okay, so this is what you would do. Hopefully you got this because you're copying the problems down. So you're going to add 7 to both sides. That cancels out. So 2 plus 7 is 9. So x is less than or equal to 9. So it's going to be a closed circle on the number 9, and it's going to be going to the left. Okay, so that's how you would do that one. Hopefully you got that one right. Okay, you can do this one if you want to. You can hit pause and then work it out by yourself and then come back and check it to see how you did. Or you can work it along with me if you're not quite sure of how to do this yet. Oh, not that. What I want you to do is to get comfortable going ahead and moving ahead of us if you need to, because you can always come back. So I'm gonna boo my number line and make it so that let's do 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so you can hit pause if you want to, and you can draw your own number line, which you're going to need to do anyway because you're supposed to be copying this down. But you can go ahead and work it out and then come back and check. Okay, so now that you're coming back to check, and plus because of that horrible music background, I don't know what happened there, you want a -4 to both sides. So you have D is greater than or equal to 8. So it's going to be a closed circle on 8, and it's going to be going to the right. So closed circle on 8, going to the right. So it's just a combination of solving equations, but adding the inequality to it and graphing. That's all it is. Okay, so I do want you to try this one. Even if you've been trying all of them, I want you definitely to try this one. Well, okay. All right, so hopefully you've done the work, and now you're coming back to check it. So what number is keeping the r from being by itself? Because this r minus 6 is less than 10. Well, the opposite of subtracting 6 is adding 6. So you're going to add 6 to both sides. So r is less than 16, because 10 plus 6 is 16. I still like to write it over. So is it going to be an open circle or a closed circle? It'll be an open circle on 16 and going to the left. Sorry about the music. It's done that before, and I don't know how it triggers my iTunes to come on. But anyway, so you got to hear a little bit of stuff in the background, but hopefully not too much. All right. Love you, mean it. Bye.